One evening in 1992, a small toy boat suddenly appears floating in a backyard swimming pool. Rebecca wakes up after hearing an unusual sound and peers through the window, spotting the toy in the water. She quickly runs to tell her very ill brother that she has found his missing boat, but he remains asleep, so she promises to bring it back to him. Rebecca heads outside into the backyard and takes a skimmer net, attempting to pull the toy up from the bottom of the pool where it has sunk. No matter how much effort she puts in, the boat always slips away from the net. With every attempt, she edges a little closer to the pool side. Out of nowhere, a powerful unseen force shoves her straight into the pool. While struggling to stay afloat, she suddenly sees what looks like her mother standing beside the pool, shouting her name. Rebecca rushes back up to the surface, but when she looks around, no one is there. Right then, the pool lights begin blinking on and off, making Rebecca panic. Frightened, she swims toward the edge, planning to climb out. But the toy boat floats into view again, tempting her to go after it once more. The moment her hand reaches the boat, something seizes her leg and drags her downward. A strange whisper saying, "Tamagami," echoes before Rebecca bursts back up, thrashing and crying for help. Then she is yanked under the water again, and this time only her slipper floats back to the surface. Years later, the Waller family is searching for a new place to live. Ree sits alone in the car for a moment, listening to baseball updates on the radio. He used to play professionally, but his career ended after he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. A sharp pain hits his head, yet Ree brushes it off when his children call for him. He picks up his walking cane and joins the rest of his family inside the house. A realtor named Kay gives them a tour, but the place doesn't impress them, so they decide to move on. While driving back, Ree notices that the house where Rebecca once lived is now listed for sale. They contact Kay, who agrees to show them that property as well, mentioning that only one person has owned it for many years. Ray's wife, Eve, appreciates that the house is located close to the school where she teaches. Ray is drawn to the swimming pool in the backyard, even though Eve feels uneasy around water. As he looks at the pool, Ree notices a baseball and reaches out to grab it, but he suddenly slips and falls into the water. His body becomes tangled in the pool cover and surrounding plants. While he struggles for air, he imagines returning to the baseball field one day after finding a cure for his condition. That hopeful thought gives him the strength to fight free and swim out of the pool. Later on, Ree visits his doctor for a routine checkup. She advises him to avoid intense activities like playing sports with his kids and suggests gentler exercises such as yoga or swimming instead. As they leave, the couple decides to purchase the house with the pool. Not long after, the family moves into their new home. The children also begin attending the same school where Eve works. Izzy, their daughter, feels anxious on her first day. However, she soon becomes friends with a popular boy named Ronan. He even invites her to join his swimming club. During the weekend, the whole family gathers to clean the swimming pool together. Ray sticks his hand into the drain to clear a blockage. Suddenly he yells out when something inside cuts his palm. He quickly pulls his hand back and sees blood pouring from the wound. Everyone backs away when muddy brown water begins rushing out of the drain at a shocking speed. After some time passes, they bring in a pool maintenance worker. He explains that the water is coming from a natural underground spring. Because of that, the pool has its own natural filtration and even geothermal warmth. According to old stories, water from these spring pools is excellent for the skin. Long ago, this area was filled with wellness resorts and spa centers. Once the pool is finally cleaned and ready, the family jumps in to enjoy it. Eve throws several coins into the water, and the kids compete to see who can find the special one. Ray performs his regular exercises and realizes the water removes pressure from his aching muscles. Later that evening, Eve sits down to review their bills. She becomes upset after realizing how expensive Ray's medical treatments are. To calm her mind, she chooses to take a swim. The family cat, Cider, meows at her as if protesting before running away. While Eve is swimming, she suddenly jumps in surprise when she notices Ray standing near the pool's edge, but when she looks again, he has vanished. Soon after, the pool lights begin flashing on and off, which makes Eve decide to get out. The moment she climbs out of the water, the lights return to normal. After making sure the kids are okay, Eve goes to the bedroom and sees Ray lying in bed, so she asks if he went outside earlier, but he denies it. She suggests they should buy a pool cover and check the lights the following day. At the same time, Cider is relaxing on the diving board while the lights begin flickering once more. Right then, the toy boat appears floating on the water, and Cider growls at it. The next morning, Elliot discovers Cider's collar floating in the pool, but the cat itself is missing. Ray reaches into the water and picks up the collar, and his bandaged hand becomes wet, so he removes the bandage. To his amazement, the cut on his palm has already healed completely. Later that afternoon, the family finally places a cover over the pool. That night, Eve has a nightmare where she is in the pool with a dark shadow beside her, and the intensity of the dream wakes her suddenly. She realizes that Ree is not in bed beside her and looks out the window, only to see him swimming with surprising energy. During Ray's next medical appointment, the doctor performs the usual examinations and is stunned to find that his illness has improved significantly. Ree explains that he has been swimming 2 times every day and refers to it as water therapy. Some time later, Ree is working out in the garage while filming himself. Elliot comes in and asks his dad to swim with him because he isn't allowed in the pool by himself. But Ree is focused on strengthening his body. Instead, he draws a smiling face on a coin and tells Elliot to play their coin-fetching game. Elliot attaches the coin to an action figure and starts playing with it underwater. Suddenly, more coins begin dropping into the water, and Elliot assumes his father is tossing them, so he quickly comes up to the surface. However, when he looks around, no one is there. He dives back down to pick up the coin and notices even more coins raining down. He gathers them all before glancing upward and seeing someone standing by the pool. Once again, he rises to the surface, but the backyard is completely empty. Elliot continues swimming, and suddenly something bangs loudly on the diving board, startling him. But when he looks up, there is nothing there. At that moment, he hears a girl's voice coming from the pool filter, asking for help. She says her name is Rebecca and claims that she is Elliot's action figure. Elliot reaches into the opening to grab the toy and feels it tangled in strands of hair, when suddenly a disturbing hand grabs his wrist. After struggling for a moment, he manages to pull free and briefly sees a shadowy figure inside the filter. A frightened Elliot rushes to tell Eve what happened. She quickly goes outside to check the pool area, but she finds nobody there and the action figure is simply floating in the water. When Ree hears Elliot's story, he wonders if his son might be imagining things since he doesn't really have friends. Eve suggests hosting a pool party so their kids can socialize more. Later on, the whole family goes to watch Elliot during his baseball practice. The other players are thrilled to have a former baseball star there, so Ray gives them as much advice as he can. Soon, they persuade him to take part in the practice, and after hesitating for a moment, he finally agrees. His first 2 attempts don't go well, and he even falls down. Eve becomes concerned, but Ray tells her he's fine and prepares for another try. This time, he remembers the pool and the strange vision he experienced on the first day. That thought gives him the power to hit the ball so hard that the bat cracks and the ball smashes into the lights. The entire team is amazed, but Elliot feels upset because his dad has taken all the attention during the game. Later that evening, Eve and Ray go out for dinner together. Izzy is left in charge of the house, so she secretly invites Ronan over after threatening Elliot to keep quiet about it. Ronan and Izzy enjoy themselves in the pool and decide to play Marco Polo. When it's Izzy's turn, she closes her eyes and calls out Marco, while Ronan jokingly sneaks out of the pool. Suddenly, the radio switches off, and something eerie in the water whispers, "Polo." Thinking it's Ronan, Izzy begins walking toward the sound. But just as she is about to grab it, the figure suddenly vanishes. Moments later, the creature shows up behind Izzy and whispers, "Polo," then disappears again when she quickly turns around. Still believing it's Ronan playing a trick, Izzy jumps into the water to chase him. However, she cannot find him anywhere, and the pool strangely seems to have no bottom. Right then, the entity grabs her leg and begins dragging her downward. Izzy frantically kicks both of her legs until she finally manages to break free. She then spots a glowing square of light above her and quickly swims toward it as the pool lights begin flickering. She reaches the surface just in time, and Ronan pulls her out of the pool. Clearly shaken, Izzy describes what happened to her. But Ronan insists she was alone and that she had only been underwater for a few seconds. At that moment, Izzy's parents return home. Before leaving, Ronan quickly kisses her and runs away. Later on, Elliot tries speaking with Izzy about what she experienced because he wants proof that he isn't imagining things. However, Izzy refuses to discuss it because the pool seems to be helping their father, and she doesn't want to ruin that. She also says that even if they told anyone, nobody would believe their story. When the day of the pool party arrives, many guests show up and everyone enjoys themselves. Even so, Izzy remains nervous, so she spends time chatting with friends instead of going into the pool. Elliot stays inside his bedroom and places a camera by the window to record everything outside. In the kitchen, Eve asks Kay why the pool remained unused for such a long time. At first, Kay avoids answering the question. Eventually, though, she admits that a girl once drowned in that pool. Thinking about Elliot's story, Eve asks if the girl's name was Rebecca. Kay looks surprised that Eve already knows that. Meanwhile, a young boy approaches Ree and asks him to sign the baseball he broke earlier. After signing it, Ree invites the boy to join the pool game where several adults are carrying children on their shoulders. The boy climbs onto Ray's shoulders as well, and they join the competition. After a tough struggle, their team manages to win. However, as the game continues, Ray slowly sinks deeper and deeper into the water. Suddenly, a dark substance flows out from the pool drain and slips into Ray's mouth, quickly taking control of him. The boy repeatedly asks Ray to let him go. But Ray grips the boy's legs firmly and begins walking toward the deep end of the pool. Soon the boy starts struggling to breathe as the toy boat appears floating above them. Elliot sees this happening through the camera and immediately runs to find his mother. Just then, the boy's parents notice his hand waving desperately in the water. His father jumps into the pool and rescues him at the last moment. Marks from Ray's tight grip are visible on the boy's legs. Ray remains motionless at the bottom of the pool and also needs to be pulled out. He is unconscious, so Eve begins performing CPR until he finally wakes up. Soon after, the party is called off and police arrive to investigate the situation. The boy's mother explains that her son said Ray refused to release him. In response, Eve reminds her about Ray's illness and points out that he nearly drowned as well. The boy's father, who also happens to be the baseball team's coach, says he will not file charges. However, he makes it clear that Ray is no longer welcome at their practices. Eve tries to apologize, but the boy's mother angrily replies that she never wants Eve near her family again. Fed up with everything, Eve tells the children to get into the car and announces that they are leaving. She insists that something is wrong with the pool. Ray argues that the pool is actually good, so Eve reminds him that a child almost lost his life. Ray eventually gets into the car as well, and the family drives away together. After only a few moments on the road, Ray suddenly looks ill and begins coughing. Eve pulls the car over as his veins turn dark and he vomits a black liquid. The family quickly returns home and puts Ray in bed to rest. Eve calls the doctor, who says he cannot examine Ray until Tuesday and advises her to keep him resting until then. Ray apologizes for nearly causing the boy to drown and keeps pleading for one more swim, eerily talking about how refreshing it feels down there. Eve refuses to let him leave the bed and becomes so worried that she drains the pool by dropping the hose into the main water line. Afterward, she checks on her children and assures them she will keep them safe. The following day at work, Eve begins researching the history of the house. She discovers that every family who lived there lost someone during their time in the house. Desperate for answers, Eve calls Kay and asks for the address of Rebecca's family. The house turns out to be a very luxurious residence. When Eve meets Rebecca's mother, Lucy, she learns that Lucy's son is now an ambassador. Eve explains everything that has happened, and Lucy suddenly begins coughing. She is so nervous that she accidentally pours far too much water into her glass. After Eve continues pressing for answers, Lucy finally begins to talk. Black tears run down her face as she reveals that before the house existed, there was a natural spring on that land. The spring was known as Tamagami, and people worshipped it because it could grant wishes. However, every wish demanded a sacrifice in return. On the night Rebecca drowned, her brother heard her scream and tried to leave his room to help her. But Lucy had locked him inside because the water was using Rebecca as the price for her wish. Rebecca's life was the sacrifice so that her sick son could be healed. Lucy tells Eve that love requires sacrifice and that she should allow Ree to regain his health. Eve finds the idea horrifying and confronts Lucy, but Lucy suddenly begins coughing again. The tube from her oxygen tank starts filling with a dark liquid, and soon the decorative fountain in the room begins doing the same. Lucy suddenly speaks in a disturbing voice as black fluid pours from her eyes and nose, saying that the water will go back to sleep. Terrified, Eve quickly leaves the house. Back at home, Ree is taking a shower when the entity suddenly takes control of his body again through the contaminated water supply. At the same time, the pool drain begins leaking the same black liquid. When the kids return home, they call out for their parents, but neither of them responds. Izzy tries calling Eve, but she doesn't answer, so Izzy goes to check the garage. Elliot fills a glass with water from the sink and notices the water trembling. Just then, he hears a cat meowing and goes outside, hoping it might be cider. Meanwhile, the glass on the table begins sliding by itself. Out in the backyard, Elliot is shocked to see that the pool has somehow filled with water again. The meowing sound is coming from a pool float, so Elliot crawls onto the diving board to reach it. As the cover handle begins spinning by itself, a terrifying creature appears on the float and punctures it with its claws, deflating it and causing Elliot to fall into the water. The handle keeps turning, pulling the cover across the pool, while the glass in the kitchen finally tips over and shatters on the floor. Just then, Eve arrives and grabs the handle, but the force pushing it is too strong and knocks her back. She tries once more, and this time Izzy rushes over to help her. Together they manage to stop the mechanism. After kicking the handle to break it, Eve dives into the pool to search for Elliot, but she cannot see him even after moving the float aside. She continues swimming and notices a strange opening at the bottom of the pool that looks like a dark abyss. Eve swims back to the surface and quickly grabs the hose, bringing it into the water with her. Using it to breathe extra air, she dives again and swims down into the deep abyss. Meanwhile, Izzy returns to the house to look for her father and accidentally slips on the wet floor. She falls onto the broken glass pieces, cutting her hand. At that moment, Izzy hears a disturbing noise and moves to see what it is. Ray suddenly appears out of nowhere, startling her, and says he's been searching for her. His eyes are completely black, and water is dripping from his feet. Izzy glances down for just a second, and when she looks back, he has vanished, so she tries to call 911. Suddenly, Ray reappears beside her, snatches the phone from her hands, and strikes her in the face. He tells her that Elliot's life is too difficult, so it's better to offer him as a sacrifice. Terrified, Izzy tries to run, but Ray grabs her hair and tears out a few strands. She breaks free enough to keep running and hides in the garage. The TV suddenly switches on by itself, showing footage of Ray's greatest game before static fills the screen. Ray shouts at her, but ultimately leaves her there and locks the garage door. Meanwhile, in the pool, Eve finally finds Elliot and grabs him, preparing to escape. However, the spirits of everyone who drowned in the pool rise up and try to block their way. After a tense struggle, Eve manages to fight them off, but she still cannot find an exit. Rebecca then appears, tossing the coin with the smiley face, revealing that they've been upside down the entire time. Now Eve can see the light and swims toward the surface. Elliot is unresponsive, and as Eve starts performing CPR, reappears behind her, saying it's too late. When Eve pleads for help, Ree grabs her by the neck and declares that the pool has chosen Elliot. Just then, Izzy appears holding a bat, and Eve signals for her to attack. Izzy strikes Ray in the legs, causing him to fall. She hits him several times in the back, which makes him vomit a bit of the black liquid. Seeing this, she hits him again in the stomach, and he begins seeing visions of all the key moments in his life. Hearing the voices of his wife and daughter calling for him, Ray finally vomits all the black goo and returns to his normal self. Elliot wakes up, but the dark liquid starts flowing out of the pool drain again. Ree realizes the pool won't stop until it receives a sacrifice, so he jumps into the water and swims toward the abyss. Soon, Elliot vomits all the strange liquid inside him, and the darkness in the pool disappears, taking Ray with it. Some time later, Elliot watches a video of Ray telling the family how much they mean to him. Eve returns the coin with the smiley face and wonders if they should sell the house. The siblings remind her that selling it would only put someone else in danger, and Ray would never want that. Instead, they decide to fill the pool with dirt and continue living there to prevent any further deaths. If you want to catch more videos like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications now. Thanks for watching.